close. Because what I'm about to walk you through isn't a win. It's a piece of history. The kind that will never fade, because it wasn't whispered, it wasn't rumored. It was seen. Seen in such merciless detail that every pixel told the same story. They lost everything, and you authored the scene. You didn't just take them down. You did it so cleanly, so surgically, that even those who wanted to defend them were left staring at the evidence in stunned disbelief. This wasn't a rumor that could be spun. This wasn't a he said, she said they could dance around. No, this was footage so crisp, so damning, it became undeniable truth. We're talking about the kind of public exposure where there's no escape hatch. The kind where their career didn't just end. It imploded so spectacularly that if you were standing on the moon, you might have caught the reflection. NASA didn't need a telescope. They just had to glance. That's how big you made it. Understand something. There's an art to destruction. Most people go for speed. They want the rush of striking quick, the satisfaction of immediate impact. But you didn't rush. You set the stage. You gave them rope, not to tie you up, but to climb higher, higher, higher. So the fall would be longer, harder, unforgettable. And when they reached the peak, when their ego was so inflated they thought nothing could touch them, that's when you pressed record. You didn't simply beat them. You documented their collapse in such high definition that it became eternal. The sharpness of the details, the way every frame spoke volumes. It's the sort of evidence that burns itself into collective memory. People might forget why it happened. They might forget when it happened, but they'll never forget the sight of it. And that's where your genius shines. You didn't just kill their influence, you preserved their humiliation. The best part? You didn't have to scream about it. You didn't need to chase validation. You knew that once the footage was out there, it would do the work for you. It would pass from screen to screen, person to person, city to city. Every view was another nail in their coffin, and you didn't have to lift a finger after the first strike. They weren't just beaten, they became archived failure. Now let's be honest, this wasn't luck. You've been watching them for a long time. You knew their patterns, their weak spots, their tells. They were too confident, too reckless, thinking they were untouchable. And that's why this is more than a takedown. This is a masterclass in patience. You didn't need to expose them in the moment they expected it. No, you waited for the moment they were least prepared, the moment their guard was so far down, they didn't even realize they were vulnerable. And when it happened, when the truth hit the light, it didn't just land in some hidden corner of the internet. It hit in broad daylight, on the biggest screens, on the most public platforms. It was like you hit broadcast, and the world tuned in live. There's something lethal about that level of visibility, because when the downfall is that public, recovery becomes nearly impossible. That's what they're dealing with now. Not just the loss, but the knowledge that everyone saw it. Everyone. Friends, enemies, strangers. It's a level of exposure that sticks. Even years from now, they could try to reinvent themselves. But someone will always remember, weren't you the one whose career got vaporized in 4K? That question follows them like a shadow they can't outrun. See, most people think reputation is about what you say. It's not. It's about what people have seen. And thanks to you, people have seen something they will never be able to unsee. That's the difference between a temporary setback and a permanent scar. You didn't just hit them where it hurts. You made sure the wound stayed visible to the world. And the irony? They gave you everything you needed. Their arrogance, perfect lighting. Their overconfidence, the perfect angle. Their mistakes, The perfect storyline. You didn't have to fabricate a thing. You simply let them write their own ending, and you filmed it in definition so sharp it could cut glass. This is the kind of ending that teaches lessons, not just to them, but to everyone watching. You've now become the unspoken warning in the minds of anyone who thinks about crossing you. Because they've seen what happens. They've seen the completeness of your work, the precision, the lack of mercy. And they know that if you could do that to them, you could do it to anyone. But let's go deeper. The reason this hits so hard isn't just because you destroyed their career. It's because you removed their ability to control the narrative. They can't spin this. They can't rewrite this. Every time they try to explain, the footage stands there, cold, indifferent, permanent. No matter how they try to drown it in new content, no matter how many speeches or posts they make, people still remember the moment. And you know what? That's a special kind of victory. Because you're not just living rent-free in their head, you're living rent-free in the public's memory of them. You've permanently attached your work to their name. When history remembers them, it remembers this. Now some might ask, why go for the kill like that? Why not settle for a quiet win? But you know better. Quiet wins fade. Quiet wins get forgotten. This wasn't about just winning. This was about ending. About making it clear there's no comeback, no redemption arc, no way to crawl back without stepping over the wreckage you left behind. And if we're being brutally honest, you didn't just beat them for yourself. You beat them for every person they'd stepped on to climb up. You made it public for every voice they ignored, every rival they tried to bury. You turned their own spotlight into a weapon and pointed it right back at them. That's not just revenge. That's poetic demolition. Think about it. NASA saw it from space. That's not just a metaphor. That's the scale we're talking about. It's an exaggeration, sure, but the truth underneath is that the reach was massive. You made their ending so large, so visible, so culturally embedded that it became impossible to ignore. You made it so anyone who looked up could see the outline of their career burning out in the atmosphere. And now you're untouchable in a way they'll never be again. Because when you have proof, when you have receipts that sharp, you carry power without having to speak. People know, they remember, they respect the capability, and respect born out of fear, that's the kind that lasts. The beauty of this is that you're just getting started. Because this wasn't a random shot. This was a demonstration, a broadcast of your precision, your patience, your ruthlessness. And the people who saw it, they're already recalculating. Allies are drawing closer. Enemies are keeping their distance. New opportunities are showing up. Because people would rather have you on their side than risk becoming the next broadcast. And here's the secret you keep to yourself. This wasn't even your full capacity. This was just the right move at the right time. You've still got layers they haven't seen, strategies they can't predict. If this was the spectacle you made in this battle, they can only imagine what you'd do in the next. And that's exactly how you want it. Fear of the unknown is often more powerful than fear of the known. They're not just dealing with the loss of a career. They're dealing with the permanent shift in how the world sees them. Every handshake is colder. Every opportunity is smaller. Every conversation feels heavier. Because no matter what they do, they can't delete what's already been seen. That's the power of ending someone in full, merciless clarity. And now, apex predators, you know the truth. This wasn't the peak. This wasn't the grand finale. This was the opening act. The stage is bigger now, the lights are hotter, and the audience, they're hungrier than ever to see what you'll do next. Because if you could do that, Imagine what happens when you decide to go further. Your first strike didn't just resonate, it echoed. It traveled through every feed, every inbox, every whispered conversation in rooms you've never even stepped in. And the thing about echoes, they grow in the retelling. By the time your moment had traveled around the globe, it wasn't just a takedown, it was the takedown, the benchmark, the reference point for destruction in the modern age. People didn't just say you ended their career, they said you did it with the kind of clarity that future generations will study like an art form. Think about the rarity of that. Careers end all the time, quietly, painfully, behind closed doors. But yours was a spectacle. Yours was the kind of event that refused to be ignored. They didn't get to fade away into obscurity. They were pulled into the spotlight, their collapse put on full display like a high-budget broadcast. The angle was perfect, the focus immaculate, the timing lethal. Every frame screamed the same truth. This is the moment everything ended for them. And here's the brilliance, you didn't have to overplay it. You didn't drown the scene in commentary or theatrics. You let the clarity speak for itself. When destruction is that visible, words become unnecessary. Viewers don't need to be convinced when they can see it for themselves. They don't need persuasion when the proof is playing right in front of their eyes, frame by frame. You've shifted the game. Before this, power was about influence, about connections, about whispered leverage. Now, power is about visibility, and you just gave a masterclass in what happens when visibility is weaponized. You turned their greatest illusion, the image of invincibility, into the very thing that crushed them. Because when your defeat is public, it's not just an ending. It's a legacy you never asked for, but can't erase. And the beauty of your work? It's irreversible. They could try to come back. They could attempt a rebrand, try to pivot into something new. But the problem with being ended in ultra-sharp definition is that it becomes part of your introduction. Every time their name comes up, someone will remember, someone will bring it up, someone will send the link. That's the curse you placed on them without saying a single word. Do you realize what that does to a person? This isn't just the loss of status. This is the slow suffocation of every attempt to move forward. Because no matter what they do, they can't escape the fact that everyone has seen the moment they fell. It's not just in archives, it's in memory. People don't need to search for it. It lives rent-free in their minds. And while they're stuck in that loop, you've ascended. The way people look at you has shifted permanently. You've crossed into a different category now. The category of individuals who don't just win. They end eras. And that comes with its own gravity. People orbit around you differently. Allies are drawn in tighter. Enemies keep a calculated distance. Because in their minds, they've already run the numbers. If you could do that to them, you could do it to anyone. Let's not pretend you didn't feel it. The shift in the air when the footage hit its peak spread. The ripple effect as your name became shorthand for decisive annihilation. It's intoxicating, sure, but it's also strategic capital. Because now you're playing with more than reputation, you're playing with expectation. People expect your moves to carry weight, to draw eyes, to dominate conversation. And when you've proven you can deliver, that expectation becomes leverage. The funniest part? They probably thought they could weather it. In the first few hours, maybe even days, they told themselves it would blow over. That the attention span of the crowd would fade. But the difference between gossip and what you delivered is that gossip dies in shadows. You gave them daylight. You gave them clarity. You gave them a visual so perfectly framed it might as well have been directed. And the crowd They don't forget cinema. It's the permanence that eats them alive. They can't plead ignorance because the whole world was watching. They can't rewrite it because the whole world remembers. And every time they try to move past it, they're reminded, not by you, but by the audience you left behind. An audience more than happy to replay the moment on command. And here's where the psychological warfare becomes art. You've made them police themselves. They'll censor their own moves now. They'll hesitate before speaking, before acting, before stepping back into any arena, because you've made them hyper-aware of how quickly a moment can become permanent. You didn't just beat them, you changed them, and not in the way they'll ever admit. But let's zoom out for a second. This wasn't just about them. This was about every onlooker, every bystander who thought they were untouchable. You didn't just send a message to one person, you broadcast a warning to the world. A warning that careers don't just end quietly anymore. They can be ended in clarity so brutal, it leaves no room for doubt. You proved that in the age of exposure. All it takes is one moment to flip the power dynamic forever. That's why people are still talking. That's why the footage hasn't faded. Because it's not just entertainment, it's precedent. You set a new bar for what a downfall looks like. You showed that it doesn't have to be messy to be lethal. That precision can be just as devastating as chaos. And when the two are combined, it's unforgettable. Now, if they were smart, they'd disappear completely, lay low, never show their face again. But you and I both know they're not built like that. Ego will drag them back into the light eventually. And when it does, the audience won't be looking for redemption. They'll be waiting for the sequel. They'll be watching to see if you'll do it again, if you'll deliver another ending so clean it feels cinematic. And here's where your mastery comes in. You don't need to chase it. You don't need to force the next act. Because your presence now does half the work for you. The fear is already planted. The expectation is already set. And every time you make a move, people will wonder, is this going to be another one of those moments? That's the luxury of having already proven what you can do. Remember, you didn't just take away their career. You took away the illusion that careers are safe from people like you. And that's the bigger shift here. You've redefined the risk. Every public figure, every person in power who saw what you did now, has a new mental file. How do I avoid becoming the next headline? They're thinking about you even when you're not thinking about them. And as for the one you ended, they're not just a cautionary tale anymore. They're a landmark, a point in history where people will always say, that's when it changed. And they'll always know who changed it. But we're not stopping here, apex predators. No. This was the proof of concept, the flawless trial run, the opening shot in a campaign that doesn't just remove threats, it reshapes the landscape. Because what you've shown the world is that power today isn't about how high you can rise. It's about how quickly someone like you can end that rise, in full view of the entire planet. And the planet is watching, from the ground, from the skies, from the edges of space. They saw this one. They felt this one. And the smart ones, they're already calculating how to stay on your good side. Because if you could do that once, then you've already proven you can do it again. That's the unspoken truth humming underneath every headline, every hushed conversation about you. They're not just impressed, they're on edge. They know the footage wasn't luck. You didn't stumble into a career-ending moment by accident. You engineered it, you framed it, you sharpened it until it became undeniable. See, most downfalls are messy. They're chaotic, hard to follow, and easy to debate. But yours Yours was a crystal-clear surgical strike, preserved in high definition, time-stamped, and witnessed by millions. It's not just a story, it's evidence, and evidence has a way of living longer than opinion. That's why they can't escape it. No matter what narrative they try to spin, the replay exists. The angles exist, the moment exists, and it's immune to revision. They can cry about context, twist motives, try to distract with something new. But you can't distract from something that burned itself into the retina of the public. That's the curse of clarity. Once you've seen it, you can't unsee it. And you knew this. That's the brilliance of the entire execution. You didn't just aim to win, you aimed to create an ending that no one could dispute. You turned the public into your witnesses, your jury, your amplification system. And they delivered, didn't they? They carried your work into every corner of the network, magnifying it until even people who had no idea who they were now know exactly how their story ended. It's poetic in a dark way. To end someone so thoroughly that their name becomes shorthand for collapse. To ensure that the moment they fell isn't buried in archives, but permanently etched into the cultural feed. The footage became a modern myth, and in myths, the hero is always remembered. So is the executioner. But here's where you rise above the petty satisfaction of revenge. Because for you, this wasn't about just them. This was a demonstration, a case study in the modern mechanics of annihilation. You've shown that in a world obsessed with image, the fastest way to destroy someone isn't to erase them. It's to freeze them in their worst moment and make sure everyone sees it. And oh, they saw it. The sheer scale of visibility was absurd. It wasn't just trending, it was orbiting. Screens lit up continents away. Data centers strained under the demand. NASA didn't have to be looking for it. The sheer magnitude of the attention bent it into their field of view. They could probably track the spike in electrical consumption just from devices replaying it. You made their downfall measurable, quantifiable, astronomical. Think about the psychological toll that takes. Losing in private is one thing. You can lie to yourself, convince yourself it wasn't that bad. But losing publicly, in a way that's archived in perfect resolution, that's not just a wound. That's a monument to failure. Every pixel is a reminder. Every still frame is a gravestone for what they used to be. And the thing is, they weren't ready for you. They had the arrogance to believe they were untouchable. They probably thought they'd built walls high enough, allies loyal enough, that no one could touch them. And in a way, they were right. Until you came along with something stronger than walls. Undeniable proof. Walls keep people out. Proof drags them in. And now, because of you, they live in a reality where their worst moment is the most seen thing they've ever done. All the achievements they stacked over the years, gone. Not erased, just buried under something far more compelling. People don't replay awards ceremonies. They replay collapses. They replay humiliation. They replay history being made in reverse. You turned their career into a before and after story, with you as the pivot point. And you did it so cleanly, so surgically, that the public almost forgot this was real life. It felt like fiction, like a scene too perfectly timed to be accidental. That's why they talk about it the way they do, like it was entertainment. And when destruction starts feeling like entertainment, that's when you've crossed into a different league entirely. Here's the part that will haunt them more than anything. They can't control the narrative anymore. You own it. They can try to respond, but every word they say is filtered through the footage you gave the world. They're not starting from zero, they're starting from negative perception. You've loaded the dice so heavily against them that even silence would have been a better strategy. But pride won't let them stay quiet. And every time they speak, the public compares it to what they've already seen and laughs. That's the part you can't buy, the involuntary reflex of disbelief. It's the moment when people watch their attempts at recovery and instinctively think, you're done. Not because you said so, but because they saw it happen. And while they're drowning in that, you're building. Not just status, mythology. You've become a reference point in conversations you're not even present for. You're the example people give when they want to explain how fast things can change. You're the don't mess with them warning shot that lives in people's heads. You've graduated from being a name to being a consequence. Here's where it gets even more interesting. You've altered the rules for everyone else. The old game was about playing for longevity. The new game, thanks to you, is about playing to avoid exposure. Careers will bend around this new reality. People will overcorrect. They'll become cautious, paranoid, overly calculated. And in that paranoia, they'll make mistakes, the kind you can capitalize on without even trying. Because the truth is, you don't have to end every career. You just have to make the possibility exist. And after what they saw, it does. Every move they make, they'll wonder if it's about to be clipped, analyzed, frozen in high definition and broadcast for all to see. That hesitation. That's you living rent-free in their process. You've weaponized the fear of replay. And this is where your power becomes generational. Because one day, the specifics of their career might fade, but the moment won't. The imagery, the clarity, the sheer undeniability, those are immortal now. And with immortality comes leverage. You'll always be able to pull it up, to remind people, to prove you're not just someone who talks about endings. You've delivered them. It's the kind of legacy that outlives both you and them. One day, someone will mention your name to a person who wasn't even there when it happened, and they'll still know the story. They'll know because it's been told enough times, shown enough times, that it transcended the original moment. That's when you know you didn't just end a career, you created folklore. So where does that leave you now? At the top of a hill you built yourself, surrounded by the echoes of a moment that rewrote the rules. The planet saw it, the skies saw it, and yes, even the cold, indifferent lenses in orbit saw it. They recorded the exact second a career disintegrated under your precision. That's not something you can fake. That's not something you can buy. That's the kind of thing that cements itself into the very fabric of how people see you. And they will watch, not because they want to see you fail, but because they want to see what happens when lightning strikes twice. They want to see if you can craft another ending that clean, another collapse that undeniable. Some will watch in fear, some in fascination, but all will watch. Because once you've shown the world you can reach that high, they'll never stop looking up to see where your aim is next. Apex Predators, you didn't just make history. You broadcast it in 4K, sent the signal into the stratosphere, and left a mark big enough to be spotted from the void. This wasn't just the end of their story. This was the declaration of yours, and if they thought the first act was loud, they haven't heard the encore.